Hi, my name's Ian Lockwood. I've been an internet marketer for over a decade now, and I've trained over 1,000 businesses in things like search engine optimization, which we'll be learning about today, pay-per-click marketing, email marketing, web design, e-commerce, analytics, and all those other exciting internet marketing tactics that you can use. Today's workshop is all about search engine optimization. We're going to start out by telling you a little bit about the search engines. Then we're going to move on to understanding how your website gets into search engines, how you can optimize your website, how to choose the keywords to target, and finally we'll be looking at how to get other websites to link to yours, which is, as you'll see later, one of the most important things you can do in terms of search engine optimization. Okay, so the first section is just to understand a little bit about how search engines work, what they're doing with your website, and some of the more interesting features that search engines have started to introduce over the last couple of years, which in some ways you could perceive as a threat, but are also in reality an opportunity for your business to get additional exposure online. The first slide here is really just demonstrating the picture of market share between the search engines in the UK at the moment. And this slide, although it's a little old now, is actually still pretty much holding true. And if you look at the combined figures for Google here, then you'll see that we're talking about something like a 90% market share for Google in the UK, which is pretty significant, I'm sure you'd agree. There are other two main search engines, if you can say main when you've got single figures of a percentage market share. We're talking about Yahoo and what has now been named Bing, Microsoft search engine, that replaced Live in 2009. Now, those search engines are pretty small in terms of their market share, but they have been around in one form or another for a long time. And the reality is that Microsoft is trying now to buy Yahoo, and it will merge the two search engines together. So it's likely that at some point in 2010, possibly 2011, depending on regulatory approval, you'll find that there aren't three major search engines, but in fact two, because Yahoo, although it will continue to exist as a website, will be just using Bing's search results. So in terms of your target market in the UK, it's primarily Google, and I will tend to use the phrase it's search engines and Google interchangeably, although I do really mean search engines generally, because they do all really work in the same way. So although there is the differences, if you like, between Bing, Yahoo, and Google and so forth, they do really work in the same fundamental way. So whatever we talk about in terms of search engine optimization works for one as much as it works for the other. Now, based on those market share statistics, it's quite likely that as you're watching this, you are a Google user yourself. So you'll probably be familiar with this screen here. It's what we call a search engine results page, or a SERP. And on the SERP, you can see that a phrase has been entered. On the slide in question, it says professional indemnity insurance. And so the user has searched for that phrase, and the search results that you see there are in fact two different sets of search results included in the same page. And you can see that we've outlined those with two different boxes. The dark blue box says pay-per-click advertising, and that is a subject which we won't be touching on today. It's a separate topic, but essentially those are adverts that the websites and the companies that own those websites have decided they're willing to pay a certain amount for every click on the advert which takes the user to their website. So clearly the fundamental thing there is how much you're willing to pay per click determines where you appear in the list, and if you're willing to spend the most of all your competitors, you'll be at the top of the list. The results that we're interested in terms of search engine optimization are the organic or natural search results highlighted on the slide with the red border. And in fact, those are not anything to do with how much money you have or how much you're willing to pay, but everything to do with how relevant Google thinks your website is for the phrase that's been searched for.